Pickwick is Dickens' first novel, and it was commissioned in 1836 when he was a comparatively obscure young journalist. It was supposed to be a series of sporting sketches published in a monthly installment format, very popular at the time, around an imaginary club. Dickens liked the idea of a club, but he wasn't a sporting man. So in his hands, this soon became a series of stories, illustrated and loosely linked to each other, about a group of gentlemen headed by the portly, kindly, and wealthy Mr. Samuel Pickwick, who journey around England and report on their adventures to other club members. The only character who's remotely interested in sport is Mr. Winkle, who's, however, totally useless at it. Then we have Mr. Snodgrass, who's a poet, and Mr. Tupman, who is forever pursuing romantic love. And then we have, last but certainly not least, Mr. Pickwick's valet, the sharp, proverb-spouting, young Cockney Samuel Weller. The drawings had to portray the characters just as Dickens envisioned them, and Pickwick sees the beginning of a brilliant and historic partnership between Fizz and Boz. As Greg Jenner in the Housework Club recently said, they sound like a DJ duo. Dickens was, of course, a brilliant observer. His characters are real, and his observation extremely detailed and distinctive. For instance, we have the fat boy who falls asleep in the middle of his daily tasks and clearly has a breathing disorder, which is somehow linked to his position as an overweight character. And when mid-20th century scientists attempted to describe the connection between obesity and breathing disorders, they actually referred to Dickens and named this condition Pickwickian syndrome. I adore the clothes details, all the buttons and waistcoats and silk bonnets and shawls. I adore the description of coaches and of the inns and alehouses. There's a lot of eating and drinking and merrymaking. I started drinking brandy and water because of Pickwick. And it's also what I think is still the best depiction of the perfect Christmas, which is, of course, when the Pickwickians go to Manor Farm at Dingley Dell, where the candles burn bright and the fire blazes and crackles in the heart, and merry voices and light-hearted laughter rings through the room. Exactly identical description of my home during lockdown. Women are weak characters. They are either silly or in distress or both, and forever abused or fainting. But I forgive Dickens. Thousands wouldn't. There is no sharp and caustic satire here, but a benign and humorous observation of the world as Dickens knew it. And among all the comedy, there is a very serious subject, which is the injustice of the justice system. Dickens used to work as a law clerk, and he obviously did not like what he saw. Maybe now that Armando Iannucci's got David Copperfield out of his system, he could gather his cohort of British actors and produce a brilliant series of Pickwick on Netflix. I know everything is still awful, horrendous, but we are at the beginning of what looks like a glorious summer, at least weather-wise. So take a leaf out of Pickwick and burst like another sun from your slumber. Throw open your chamber window and look out upon the world beneath.